Hello, 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 beautiful souls. How are you guys doing on this wet Tuesday? Great Tuesday? Awesome Tuesday? However you want to label it. Yana, Kasperczak, Spiritual Awakening Core Energy Coach, and my soul's purpose is to help women get their shit together so they can break free from that mental prison that they find themselves in. Once in a while, we all do. We're all humans, and we all have feelings and emotions. So that way they can live the life that they're excited to wake up to and are proud of. So today I decided to do a card reading on here because typically I do it just in the group on Mondays at 11:30. But yesterday I was not able to do that because I am a human being myself. Hey Melita, how are you doing, beautiful? And I was going through my own personal turmoil because life is a roller coaster ride, and needed time to process, needed time to just be and heal and work through everything that needed to be worked through. So yesterday's card reading did get canceled, but typically it does not get canceled. Typically I even pre-recorded if I'm going somewhere else. So that's why I decided I'm gonna do that today so everybody else gets to experience what this is all about. And since I started talking about, because this is one thought that kept going through my mind as I was getting ready for this video, is that all of us have feelings and emotions, and I feel like the cards are going to help with this as well, and I'm just going to pull out one card today. All of us have feelings and emotions, and all of us have been taught to ignore them or suppress them or avoid them or procrastinate on them. Whereas if you want to live that life where you don't feel imprisoned in your own mind and in your own body, you gotta pay attention to those feelings and emotions as you were meant to, because they are flags. It is your body telling you something is off, something is wrong. But if you look for what's wrong, you will find it. You're not meant to look in the way of using your eyes. You're meant to look within and sit with it and understand and allow yourself to process what is it that you're going through. And you're not always going to get the answers right away. And they don't come to you in the way that you think they would. They come to you in different ways. Sometimes you might actually hear voices. Everyone is different. Everyone receives information different. Sometimes you just know and it comes as an aha moment. Or sometimes you remember something and you're sharing with someone else, and this is where you actually are getting your answers. Now, when it comes to your feelings and your emotions and what you're going through, they are valid and you are entitled to your feelings and emotions, and they are important. They are very important. But they are not more important than someone else's. They're just as equally important than someone else's, or maybe somebody else's might be more important. And that means you need to understand the other person if the other person is involved. Because I hear this very often where you did not hear me, you did not see me, you don't listen to me, you don't do this, you made me feel that. And it's just, each one of those is blaming and shaming, and at the same time, a cry for help. Please see me, hear me. But how can they if you're not doing that for yourself? You gotta do that for yourself first. You need to understand what you're going through in order for you to help someone else understand. Many women are verbal processors and they speak, whereas men, not so much so. Their minds are physically built different. Their minds are different than women's. There's actually a great video. I don't know if I can even share it. I was thinking of sharing it in the group. I'll find how I can get access to that video. where that was explained, that women have their mind, there's more gray matter that they have, there's they're able to multitask, whereas for men they're able to focus and zone in. And yeah, there's so much more to it, but we're doing card reading here today, and here's the card. Okay, is it upside down? No. Oh yeah, it is. So Lughnasadh, I can't pronounce that one. Prosperity. So that's the card. I hope it doesn't show backwards to you guys, but I'm sure if you try hard enough, you'll be able to read it backwards. I had some cards backwards, but hey. It's like these cards also want to be read, but I don't know. I'll leave them to the side. I'll probably just show the other two that were flipped the other way, just if you are curious about these cards. I'm not going to go into them for the sake of time for everyone, and including myself, because healing is messy and is not linear, and it is not straightforward. There are ups and downs, and it takes time. How much time? Everyone is different. Soon I'll be sharing with you guys something that I've been healing for almost 15 years. And there's still more work to do in that area. But when that comes about, you'll see it. Okay, so let's go into this one. I'm not pronouncing the top one. I don't even know how to pronounce it properly. Lughnasadh. But the whole English language is honestly one of the weirdest languages. There's some letters that are silent, even though they should be silent, and in different word, that same letter, the same way it's written, it's not silent. Ugh. I just, you read it, you understand it, okay, but I'm looking at prosperity. That's what I'm looking at, and wheat. Right, harvesting wheat, and the way that it was this way, that's a crown. Maybe that's why it came out upside down, so that's a crown. And this way it's more like a necklace, and it goes into your heart. And this is alphabetical, so the L, there we go, I found it. So I wish there was like a button where it would, you know how you go to Google and you type in the word and you want to Google to pronounce it for you, it'll pronounce it for you. I wish there was a button in this book that would pronounce that word for me, but that word followed by prosperity. Sunny days are here at last. Time to feast, no need to fast. Celebrate, sing, dance, and leap. Harvest in, 'tis yours to reap. This magic is worked with harm to none. So mote it be. There, it is done. Now, which is wisdom? This is how this book looks, so to show you guys. This is which is wisdom, and then it goes into which is foresight, and I'll just say prosperity revealed, because I'm not attempting to pronounce that word. Okay. And then it still says that word. Oh my goodness. I wish. Actually, I don't have to wish. I would like to go and see if I could have it pronounced to me by Google, but for the sake of time, I am not going to do that. Let me see if the proper page open. Okay. Here we go. Lughnasadh, that's probably how it's pronounced, brings great tidings of prosperity. Your planted seeds have grown into abundant crop, and now the harvest has been reaped. A time of opportunity and good fortune is upon you. You've been doing a lot. You've been working a lot. You've been tending to those seeds that you planted. Now, some of you, those of you who are not aware what is referred to as a seed, but I feel like most of you are, is aha moment is considered to be a seed. something that you said and shared with someone, that is considered to be a seed. Something that you heard somewhere and it made sense, that's a seed. Anything that brings you conscious in the moment, like that is what a seed is. A seed is something that causes you to be present in the moment, and it brings you into the now, and then you become aware of that seed, and it's there. But at the same time, hi Rebecca, nice to see you again. But at the same time, there are seeds that are planted in the subconscious where we are not consciously aware of those seeds being planted. And I'll give you an example. So if you're listening to books or podcasts, or if you're listening to this video, there's going to be things that are said which you might not remember, but your subconscious does. And then you're going to go through something in your life, or you'll have an experience, good or bad, doesn't matter. Experience is an experience. And you will have realizations. You will have the dots that connect and make sense. Or you might, like in this case, you planted seeds, have grown into abundant crop, and now the harvest has been reaped, which means that good things will start to come your way. You wanted to have a kid, you planted a seed, then you had a kid. Good things came your way. Some will say, I don't know if I love motherhood. Others will say, I love motherhood, and others, I hate motherhood, and they leave, right? We've heard of all the different kind of choices that people can make. But a seed is still a seed. A time for opportunity and good fortune is upon you. Everything is going your way. The venture you put your heart and soul into, in whatever form, is ready to flourish. Take a deep breath for that one. The venture you put your heart and soul into, in whatever form, is ready to flourish. It's ready to bloom. Your dreams have been answered, and your spells for good fortune are ripe for the picking. Success is yours, and like a true alchemist, everything you touch right now turns to gold. So keep touching. Be handsy. This is the time to be handsy, but not greedy. Big difference. Know what's yours when you touch it. Not, of course, physically, energetically speaking. And what's not yours, let it be. When it's meant to be yours, it will be yours. So don't let a single opportunity pass you by, for you are supported as you walk your rightful path. Hey, Kimberly, how are you doing, beautiful? We missed you today. But we'll see you next week, I'm sure. So don't let a single opportunity pass you by, for you are supported as you walk your rightful path. I will remind you to focus on your path, to stay in your lane, to look at yourself and not others, to start focusing just on you and what can you do better, not how something or someone else made you feel, but what is it about them that is triggering you? What is your trigger? They're not aware of it. You can help them to understand, but there needs to be safe space for that to happen. And it's yours. It's yours to uncover. It's yours to understand. It's yours to work through. And the biggest work is to not give your power away and blame others for what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. Even if they are a big contributing factor, it is not entirely their fault. It takes 2 or 3 or 4 It takes more than one. Nobody just drives their car and all of a sudden starts yelling at the invisible person who cuts them off that's not there, right? It takes someone else to come in front to trigger them, to cause them to feel a certain way, back to feelings and emotions, which are valid, for you to sit with, for you to understand, for you to explore as if they are your friend, because they're there to help you to remove it, because you weren't aware of them being there. You weren't aware of when this trigger was created or how it was created. And in order for you to understand, you gotta sit with it, understand it, sometimes go in the past and see where it was. But most of it was done and there, programmed in you before you were 7 years old. So that's why going back in the past might not always help, but at the same time, depending where you are going back in the past, it is important to reflect back so we can learn and not use it against one another, because very, very often this is what seems to happen, is bringing up the past to remind you of what you did, even though you already remember and you know, but it's there so you can learn and do better. Because if there was no need for it, then what would be the point of all the history books? Why not take all those books and burn them all and start from scratch and forgive and forget and move on, and that's it? No, that's not how we're meant to live. We're meant to live and reflect back on what we have lived through and do better. Even if it was amazing, you could still do better. Just doing better, not trying, but doing. Trying, something about the word try, it's almost like, I'll try, but I know I won't succeed. But when you're doing it, you're invested. When there's less investment in the trying, but there's all the investment in doing. Because when you're doing it, you're doing it. But when you're trying. And if it doesn't work, it's fine. But when you're doing it and it doesn't work, it's not fine. You're going to keep doing it until it works. So are you trying or are you doing? Are you trying to become the best version of yourself, or are you becoming the best version of yourself? Big difference. But we all need our own time to understand what that means to each and every one of us individually, so we can energetically respond to it and stop trying and start doing. Next part. So this is what, of course, let me actually finish that last sentence, reread it again. So don't let a single opportunity pass you by, for you are supported as you walk your rightful path. This is what you've been waiting to hear. So enjoy every moment and remember to appreciate and bless everything that comes your way. And it's not just saying thank you, it is feeling the thank you. It is not just thinking I'm grateful and saying to yourself you're grateful. It is feeling grateful. And you need to understand how that feels in your body. If you haven't learned how that feels in your body, just like if you haven't learned how intuition feels in your body, that is up to you to take the time to learn your body, because you have not been given that time and that knowledge and that education to help you tune into you, which is the only world and the only reality that exists. Everything outside might as well be a video game, which you can change by changing your internal world. And it just happens effortlessly. It really does. So enjoy every moment and remember to appreciate and bless everything that comes your way. Your days of famine and are no more. It's time to reap the rewards and feast upon the good you have created Lughnasadh shines upon you. I think that's the word. I think I'm gonna have to Google it so I can understand what that word actually means, and probably even pronunciation. You can do it for yourselves as well if you want to have a little chuckle and see if I was pronouncing it right or not, which right or wrong doesn't matter. To me, this is the word, that's how I pronounce it. That's what life has taught me. Being an immigrant in this country where everyone would laugh at me and the way I would speak, how I would say, how I would pronounce words, and that caused me to stop speaking and just keep it more private with just one-on-one friends, or maybe two friends, never like a group of friends, because somehow they always manage to find a way to gang up. Let's be honest, quite a few women can be, and men as well, but my experiences with women, unsafe and unwelcoming, and we'll leave it there. But I know you're not that kind of person, so otherwise you wouldn't be watching it. Otherwise you'd be repelled by this kind of energy, because it wouldn't resonate with you. Like attracts like, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So if you don't like who you have in your life, then change your energy and they will just fall off and will clean themselves up, and you will have what you need and what you deserve. Now, which is foresight. What you have wished for will flourish into fruition. What have you been wishing for? Don't share it, just with yourself. I'm just asking the question so you can say to yourself what you have been wishing for that will be coming into fruition. And just pay attention. You'll start to notice what it is, in case you might have forgotten, because some wishes might have been on repeat for so long that they're more of your subconscious than of the conscious, and then you'll get to see and experience it in real life. You are rewarded for your hard work. Don't give up, for success is just around the corner. Your positive attitude and gratitude leads to good fortune. Prosperous circumstances surround you. You reap what you sow. So true. If you do good, you get good back. If you do evil, you get evil back. And whatever you get back is 10 times what you have given. So imagine if you have been giving good, you get 10 times of goodness back. And some of us have done bad, or all of us might have done bad. I wasn't the same person as I am today. Life wasn't always easy. It's not easy for anyone. And I was, for one, I was not a nice sister to my sister. A lot has changed since then. A lot has changed since then. But I feel like I've paid my dues. And karma, I'll bring karma into this, where you reap what you sow. You do good, you get good karma back. You do bad, you get bad karma. But it's not the act of doing, it is the intention behind the act of what you do. So I'll give you an example. There's going to be one more part I'm going to read. So I'll give you an example. Oh, it's my phone going off. If you want, let's say, we'll use the word karma as an example, right? You want to clean up your karma, and your intention is, I want to cleanse my karma and I want to do good, so I'm going to go and I'm going to go donate to this place. I'm going to help here. I'm going to help there. I'm going to help this person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So you're going to go and do those things, and then you come back and you're like, okay, well, I still feel the karma is there. I still feel like it's not good enough what I did. So you go and you do more. Now your intention is to clean your karma. Your intention is not from a place of giving, not from a place of wanting to give and wanting to help and wanting to change. So you're just trying. You're not doing, you're trying to clean your karma. So in a trying, yes, you will learn a lot, but you're not going to clean it, right? You're not going to cleanse it. And your karma, some children have been born with no karma, but most of us are born with karma. And trauma that's been, all of us are born with trauma that's been passed down generation after generation, mostly from our mothers, because our mothers are the ones that are giving us the blood, and all of us have our mother's blood in us, right? Male, female, you have your mother's blood in you. Unless your father gave birth to you, and I'm not going to go there. So now if you come from intention of, I understand there's karma, and I'm not going to focus on my karma. What I'm going to focus on is on myself and being the best version of myself. And when I see something or someone that needs help, I will help them from a place of love, from a place of wanting to help, from a place of wanting to give, not because there's a shiny reward in the end. There needs to be no strings attached. And when you do that, that is when you start reaping what you sow. It is not exactly what you plant, what you do. It is the intention behind what you do. If your intention can be, I want to read this book and I want to understand this book. Or your intention could be, I just want to finish this book. Very different intentions. Which mindset, intention, is going to actually help you in the long run when it comes to this one book, where I just want to get through this book and get it over with so I can say, check mark, I read this book? Or is your intention to go in deep and really take everything in and understand it and apply it as you go, so that when the time comes, you have what you need and you can actually practice what you've learned, versus I just want to finish this because I have to. Now, most people live this way with practically day-to-day life. It is their program, their, default program. All of us have a default program. And you know what that default program is when you revert back to your old self. Where you're trying to do something better, or you're working on becoming a better person, and then you go back to your default tendencies. And that is where you get to practice everything, because that's a test itself. Where are you going to continue being that same version of yourself, or are you going to apply what you learned? Okay, now the last part, Lughnasadh revealed. Our ancestors implemented the cycle of crops and understood how they reflected the human cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This harvest marks the gathering in of the grains and celebrates the sun god, Lugh, who is cut down in his glory, only to rise again next year. This is a time of feasting, a time of plenty, and for acknowledging the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. In order for you to get to the next version of you, the old and the current and the present version of you must die, so you can be reborn. So if you feel like you're dying, you feel like there's a lot happening, you are a part of you that is no longer serving you, that you can no longer be, is dying. And you are grieving your old self, so you can welcome the new self, the new version of yourself, and not just welcome, but embrace and own her. So going forward, the next time this death and rebirth you go through, referred to as awakening as well, you can do it easier. And it gets easier each and every time. Initially, it might take you months or years to get through. And this is where you are in the roots. We have awakening tree that we talk about, and this is where it all starts. It starts in the roots, where you are going deep within. And when it comes to the roots, it is not just one root. It is very intricate and intertwined existence, complex onto itself as you are. And that's where you gotta go. You gotta go into the dirt and dig and work on what's not working. Trim some of those dead roots that are no longer serving you. Grieve your old self so you can welcome your new self and embrace her and be her and own her and keep her without going back or without staying back longer than you need to, because we all go back once in a while and we need to. So it's just so we're given the opportunity to reflect, to learn, because we don't learn a lesson right away. It's like when you read a book, how much of the book do you retain? Maybe 10%. If you read it again, you retain 10 more percent, so that's 20%. You read it again, you retain another 10%, so that's 30%. How long do you have to, or how many times do you have to go back to that same book until you have fully understood it and memorized it? Like the back of your hand. And even though you look at the back of your hand, it's like, oh, that's new, right? You might have to keep going back. That the sooner that we each accept that this is the reality, that this is how we're meant to be living, to continue to be pulled back and then go forward, come back and go forward, because there's more to learn when you come back, and then you go forward. But when you go forward, you go forward much further. And when you go back, you don't go all the way back. Like if you started here, when you come back here, maybe like a millimeter away, you come back here. And then when you go forward much further. And when you come back here. And the next time you come back, you might come back here, come back here, come back here. Sometimes you might come back all the way back because you really need to learn something. And then when you go further, you go all the way out. Like this is what life is. This is a roller coaster ride itself. Now you add feelings and emotions on top of that, and you got a human. If you don't want to be human, ask for being a dog in the next life and hope that you're placed with a human who will take good care of you and not the opposite, right? So that is all that I have for you guys for today. Yep, that was it. Thank you very much for being on here, listening and sharing with me. I see Rebecca said, and it depends on the energy space we are already in. Yeah, a lot of the things would depend on our surroundings. And if we don't feel comfortable or safe, and us as empaths, we feel in the sense that every human being is an empath. Even narcissists are still empaths. Even like full-on narcissists are still empaths. They have just not figured it out. Some never will. Others will. But it's not your job to fix anyone or to do anything for anyone. It is your job to do that for yourself. And okay, and then Kimberly was just talking to Rebecca a little bit. So awesome, ladies. Thank you very much for being on here. And other than that, I will see you all tomorrow, Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern time in our Facebook group, Heal a Unicorn. Spiritual Awakening for Women with our podcast, Heal the Unicorn, where Bethany and I will be going in on another topic, which I do not have in front of me. I know Bethany mentioned what the topic will be. I will take a peek right now, and it's going to be November 8th. So let me get to November 8th. We'll be talking when you're feeling disconnected with your body and mind and in need of a pause. Perfect. On point with so much. And other than that, we will see you all tomorrow on the podcast with this beautiful topic, when you're feeling disconnected with your body and mind and in need of a pause. What do you do and what happens? How do you identify it? How do you recognize it? And at the same time, like I said, what do you do with it? And I'll see you also next week on here. I'll do my better to be here for 11:30. Yeah. Other than that, until then, thank you, everybody. And those of you who are not on the group, I would love to invite you and see you in the group, because there's so much more content in there, not just from me, but from many other ladies sharing every single day that helps you on your healing journey. No matter what you're going through, you will find someone or many someones you can relate with, and maybe you can even bond with. But other than that, until next time.